Firstly, that I have entered human embodiment. And that's the greatest privilege. Three things are extremely blessed. Manuṣyatvam, to be born in human embodiment. Because look around you, in all embodiments, self-effort can be exercised in a decisive manner in human embodiment only. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansya Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Śrīmad Bhagavad Gītā, in Chapter 5, chapter is known as Sannyāsa Yoga. An insight is being given into karma and sannyasa. These two words are very popular. It seems that you are given two broad choices. Get involved with karma and continue to come back into embodiment, cycle of birth and death, and the world is forever for you. That's karma. Sannyasa, no, this karma aspect I don't want. Not coming back again and again. Never to come back into this world. Say goodbye to the world forever. Not only that, reduce the world to nothing. The snake on the rope. And traditionally, people follow the path of sannyasa, which means go to an ashram, become initiated into sannyasa, and adopt the path of sannyasa, of path of religious order. All that has their own meaning and purpose. The Gita steps beyond the normal tradition and gives you profound insight. Even if you keep yourself extremely busy doing so many good things, that doesn't mean that you have become a karma yogi. So in order to be a karma yogi, doing good karma, simply being involved in action, that's not the characteristic, the real characteristic of karma yoga. And another, mind has developed great dispassion for all this mud puddle of the world process. So the idea, I will just take sannyasa, stay far away from the world, in a forest, never see anything, keep minimum contact, and I will be then led to the highest. That also is not correct. It will lead you to become a dull wit. If you just follow getting away from the world as sannyasa. This point I have explained. Now then, what is the ideal? ideal is to understand that, first to understand you cannot turn away from karma. Karma means activity, action. Action flows through you in three ways: thought, word, and deed. So even if you place yourself in an inactive state, your thoughts are working, your imaginations are working, your moods are lurking, good mood, sad mood. And that is not real, purposeful movement. You are becoming more and more stressful, dull, and your real problems are not being resolved. And remember, we brought you a mystical formula. Karma plus vikarma becomes akarma. The ideal of being beyond all karmas, that becomes possible if you perform your duties. First, your duties should be towards Svadharma. Do not involve yourself into jobs or activities that are not in harmony with your nature. Simply led by greed, then it's called Paradharma. That means others' duty, not yours, because you are not enjoying. This point also I have detailed. The first stage is that be drawn to good karmas. Do not involve yourself in actions where you are causing hurt in others, action based on greed, violence, fraud, and all other impurities. Those actions are called nishiddha karma, negative actions. They are prohibited actions, and they lead you to hell. Hell again is experiencing intense misery. So moving away from Paradharma, which I have described, all that, led by greed, pursuing Svadharma, the duties, works that are in harmony. But now at this stage, you go one step further. Do not keep your mind always calculative. Am I doing Paradharma or Svadharma? Because that will become impractical. Now bring in God in your life. Jahi vidhi rakhe, whichever way God has placed you. Try to harmonize yourself with the type of activity that you are involved in. Whatever action you are doing, allow your mind to develop a feeling that God has put me in this situation. He is watching over me. And let me show him that I am doing well. Like children who want to please their mother, especially the she is looking, start doing with great attention. By adopting this attitude, that all your actions that you perform, they are in the spirit of worshipping God. Your actions become karma yoga. The purpose of karma yoga is to bring your attention to citta-śuddhi. In every project, your mind has two-aspected attention. For majority, there is only one aspect, one success in your project. But if you are a little more spiritually enriched, you want success, but you want also internal peace. If you are a yogi, external success is a slave to your inner fulfillment. So you don't name your external success. Get into your internal movement. Come closer to God. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. All else, you don't have to calculate what all else. They will come to you. Now, having given you that introduction, let me go on with the verses. Presently, 19th verse. Ihaiva tairjitah sargo yesham samye sthitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te sthita. Even in this very life, the world is conquered by those whose mind is established in equality. Brahman is free from defects, doshas, and is the embodiment of samatva, equality. Therefore become established in Brahman. In one simple verse, you are being given a whole condensed scripture. First point, even in this very life, the goal is to be attained not with the idea that someday, since karmas are so many, and to get over them, that's not easy. So at least let me do sadhana. Someday, 10 embodiments later, 50 embodiments later, someday I will attain the goal. But attaining the goal in this life, that's impossible. If you are viewing yourself that way, you must realize, don't lead your life according to ego's insight. Ego doesn't have insight. Don't place your life in the hands of ego that is a product of ignorance. No matter how convincing ego's arguments are. The ego knows the mathematics. It's not putting 2 plus 2 together. But beyond the ego level, mathematics is transcended. 2 plus 2 will become only 1. I'm joking, at the same time, a subtle point behind it. Implying that the idea of destroying karma, moving away from karma, that idea should enable you to understand that karmas are based upon subtle desires of your unconscious, or Vāsanās. And Vāsanās arise out of ignorance, avidya. Karmas, therefore, are not real entities. To give you a very simple way to understand, think of darkness, facing night. During you are waiting for sunrise and you are just facing dark shadows all around you. Your mind has conjured up lots of dark shadows. It has given names to them. And the idea to remove them, mind also has dramatized that God has to send at least 1,000,000 soldiers to go after all these shadows and get a hold of their necks and to drive them out. But as the sun rises, miracle happens. The rays of the sun, the moment they begin to shine, the darkness runs away. Where does it run to? It just vanishes. The darkness has no substance. Your karmas have no substance. All karmic experiences are like experiences in a dream. Led by karma, you accomplish nothing. In life, it seems to accomplish a lot of things. If you didn't have a house, you made a house. You didn't have friends, you create friends. You didn't have family, you create a big family. And create name, fame, glory, and all that. But all this passes away. The moment you kick the bucket, nothing goes with you. Now, therefore, Gita says, even in this very life, don't allow your mind to think of all the karmas and complexity of attaining liberation. Attaining liberation is like a rising sun. And just as the sun is never absent, in the same way the divine self is never absent. The moment ignorance is removed, there's a revelation. The shining sun is allegorical. There is nothing but light. In brief, your mind must develop a sense of immense thrill. Firstly, that I have entered human embodiment. And that's the greatest privilege. Three things are extremely blessed. Manuṣyatvam, to be born in human embodiment. Because look around you, in all embodiments, self-effort can be exercised in a decisive manner in human embodiment only. Next point, mumukṣutvam, having entered human embodiment, to develop aspiration for spiritual advancement, to develop aspiration for attaining the goal of life. That's liberation. If you have developed that, immense blessing of God is pouring down on you. And the third one, mahāpuruṣa-saṁśraya. Having entered human embodiment, having developed aspiration, be guided. Great personalities exist in the world. The moment a disciple is ready, there is, in divine plan, a source ready to inspire the person. So it's said, when disciple is ready, guru is ready. When you are not ready, then you can go through. Greatest personalities, and you will not be drawn to them. So three things are extremely rare, and they are greatest of blessings. To be born as a human being, and having been born, to have aspiration for attaining spiritual goal, and therefore keen interest in being guided. When you become aware of all this, that even in this very life, you attain liberation. And liberation is described as, even in this very life, the world is conquered. Always the mind works upon conquering the world. You are tamasika, then the idea of conquering the world is in a demoniac way. This is demonstrated in the Purana. Each time a demon rises, he wants to conquer the world. Rajasikas, they have their own idea of conquering the world. Conquering the world not in a demoniac way, but in a political way. Politics. Gain power, gain fame, gain good manners, but not very profound. Real victory, that relates to a mystical understanding. Let me dramatize it. Suppose you have conquered any one of your senses, conquered your tongue, taste. 1/5 of the world has become your slave. What does the 1/5 of the world contain? All the wonderful dishes, fruits and sabjis and pickles. The world of taste. If your mind has adjusted to the idea, let the taste be for my benefit. Let me use my taste to enrich myself, not to hurt myself. That doesn't mean that you are not going after tasty things. You are going after it, but as a master. On the other hand, you are going after the tasty dishes as a slave. Your mind says, I'm going to eat it, but I'm going to suffer. But I don't care. It looks so good. And you look at the world with a mind that has a sense of horror. I'm dramatizing it to show two aspects. One, you are slave to senses. Another, you are master of the sense. Outwardly, there is very little difference. So if you are master of your senses, then this whole world is experienced by your five senses. Control one sense, you have controlled the 1/5 of the world. Two senses, 2/5. Three senses, 3/5. And if you have controlled even 3/5, the majority wins. While I am dramatizing it, just to explain to you that people live in the world with a constant feeling of being helpless. But as you go on controlling your mind and senses, a sense of profound freedom enters your heart. Because you are not living in the world as a slave, but as a master. Control of senses can make you master of the world. But control of senses require also to understand what's the source of dependence on the objects of the world. What causes one to depend? Answer lies Vāsanās, subtle desires. Since you have subtle desires, your senses overpower your reason. So in order to be the master of the world, you need to control the senses. In order to succeed in controlling the senses, you need to work upon your subtle desires. Remove from subtle desires rajasic, tamasic desires. Develop positive ones. Subtle desires based upon virtuous qualities. A desire to be magnanimous. A desire to be humble. A desire to be Buddha-like. A desire to be liberated. Like Christ. I'm just trying to give you all types of understanding. The idea is, as you allow your vasana, subtle desires to be magnanimous, profound, not led by ego, because ego's magnanimity is limited. Led by ego, ego will be always dreaming of somewhere in the world you are going to be in a wonderful state as if you are in heaven, perpetual heaven. Many live their life with a dream that at the time of retirement they will go by the ocean, right here by Miami Beach, and enjoy this setting sun day by day, say hello to the sun. And what a wonderful thing it will be. But this picture is a picture of ignorance. Your goal is to be the master of your senses. In order to master your senses, your vasanas, subtle desires, must become highly purified. In order to succeed in being absolutely free of subtle desires, you must have enlightenment. The knowledge that is intuitional, called tattva jnana. The intuitional knowledge expresses itself, I am that. In all situations of practical life, I am in a human being is so little. It is dependent upon the body, mind, intellect. I am the body-mind complex. That I am is a product of ignorance. Tattva-jnana is to go on developing an insight that I am body, I am mind. This is a form of dream type of experience. The real I am, when you go to sleep, you are not aware of your body. You are not aware even of your mind. You moved away from your senses. You moved away from your ego. Still you are. Therefore, you have this possibility of seeing yourself stripped of body, mind, intellect, senses, ego. You have the possibility by knowledge, by profound understanding of who am I, and bring to your mind a revelation. I am not this miserable ego personality. I am not this subject to birth and death. I am not this dependent on the world of transient objects. But I am Satchidananda, absolute existence, absolute awareness, absolute joy. I am that am I. As you allow that profound affirmation to blossom within you, and its fragrance dips into your mind and senses, that's when we say you have conquered the world. Three great qualities develop in you. Samatva. Mind does not become agitated. All situations come and go. But the mind develops a sense of being the sky. The sky is never agitated. Clouds can be horrible. They can be soft and fleecy and joyous. They can be in different situations. The sky smiles on them, welcomes them, enfolds them, and is never contradicted by them. If you were to develop that type of mental state that is never upset, never contradicted by things that happen in the world, that state of mind is called samatva. Mind is always in balance. Therefore, the mind does not develop the notion of raga and dvesha. Raga, mind that doesn't have that equality or balance. When positive situation comes, the mind wants to hold it, starts thinking of all types of plans. How can you secure it? And when things become negative or inimical type, mind has dvesha. How can I expel those things and keep them away from myself for all the time? And mind faces another type of complex situation. Inability to understand what should be rejected, what should be accepted. Because what seems desirable in the morning, by the afternoon, it's not. So now you are in a state of agitation. human mind has lost its wondrous quality, samatva. That mind that remains balanced, can you imagine what type of strength it must feel? What type of joy it must experience? And what type of positive emanation must arise out of that mind? That type of mind will inspire countless people. I say countless, just maybe even 10 people. We're beginning with that. You can go on increasing it. 100 people, 1,000 people, million. It doesn't depend upon the count. Next point. So first stage, a mind being free of raga dvesha, attachment and hatred, and enjoying equanimity. Second stage, as Vāsanās, subtle desires. They come in three gunas. Rajasic Vāsana, Tamasic Vāsana. When negative Vāsanās, negative desires have moved away and your Vāsanās have become positive. Your impressions have gathered on the basis of increasing goodness in your heart, on the basis of your spiritual success, devotion, meditation, integration of personality. On the basis of all this, the Vāsanās that gather, now you are getting a deeper type of fulfillment. A cool breeze blows from your inner life. That quality is called shama, serenity. As a result of that serenity, wisdom, tattva-jnana, the light of knowledge as it were, enters into your deep unconscious, like the rising sun. And the darkness that has been sitting there for a long time runs away. Now you begin to experience samadhana, absolute tranquility. So developing samatva, another word is called manonash, mind being free of raga dvesha, attachment and hatred. Next point, developing shubha vasanas, subtle desires or subtle impressions based on your spiritual movement, your goodness, purity of heart, devotion to God, meditation. Impressions that are based on these. The technical term there is called vasana kshaya. Subtle desires that were like a dark cloud. Now you have allowed the rays of light enter into the dark cloud. So the dark cloud is now going to be destroyed. It has no choice. Then that's called Vāsanā kṣaya. And while this is going on, tattva-jnana, the knowledge is shining like the sun. All this can be experienced during your very lifetime. So the spiritual statement, be free, attain enlightenment, be self-realized, attain mukti, nirvana. All that implies attain these three aspected liberation. And another point, with the understanding of a progressive movement. This attainment is not accidental. That so many days you will go on doing your sadhana, your headstand, your yoga exercises, and one night something will fall on the roof and a cracking sound will awaken a mystical vision within you. And wake up. I am enlightened. Manonash, Vāsanās, that will be a sentimental picture. In practice, your mind goes on developing day by day, remembering. You see your mind being agitated. You remember. Samatva. That's your goal. No matter how much you fail, you remember and create an affirmation. Do your japa. Do your prayer. Think of something positive you can do to reduce the mental stress. And allow the movement to be progressive. Likewise, a deeper sense of shama, serenity, and a deeper sense of understanding, I am that. All this must move in your life progressively. If you find you have understood all this and you are in a very clarity of mind has developed, don't expect that it will become perpetual. In the morning you have all that, by the evening it's gone away. In spite of that, you have to understand, you have been in the world process. And the world process and mind with bondage, that has been the reality. Now you are gradually waking up, gradually moving towards enlightenment. The gradual movement may seem like very small steps. But remember, as you continue with patience, act of grace enhances this movement in an amazing way. But nevertheless, never develop the idea, I'm going to sleep tomorrow, I'm going to be in vikalpa state. Rather understand your movement is continuously flowing toward. A river starts flowing to the ocean. It doesn't have that idea. Tomorrow I will be in the ocean. No, you simply flow on. Flow on and on. Even in that state when the river has entered the ocean, don't become too conceited that I have already entered the ocean. Still flow on. River enters the ocean and flows on. That's called Jīvanmukti. Never for a moment there comes the ego. I have attained enlightenment. If the river had that type of notion, I have attained the ocean. So, suddenly dry up the whole, move away from the land. That will be a very crude expression of attaining the goal. Some people had that idea. Attain the liberation and suddenly your body vanishes. You don't belong to the world. You disappear. But that is not so. Na prahishyet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha priyam. Sthira buddhira sammudho brahma vid brahmani sthita. The knower of Brahman has a firm intellect. He is free from illusions and is ever established in Brahman. He neither rejoices when he acquires what is desirable, or is he agitated when he encounters something undesirable. Those very points are now being given to you for further elucidation. That knowledge that I am not the body, not the mind, I am Brahman. That knowledge is not a shaky knowledge. All intellectual knowledge is shaky. It's never complete. But this is a revelation, intuitional knowledge. Even the term intuition has to be understood. It's not the way people think of it. When intellect becomes free of the pressure of subtle desires, Vāsanās, and free of the overpowering effect of ignorance, intellect then is your understanding. Understanding has a spontaneous grasp, a spontaneous experience that I am, just like you have been dreaming. While dreaming, your intellect is working in a very limited way. When you wake up, now compare the way the intellect was working in your dream. And when you wake up, what happens to that intellect? It sees all dream objects move away. And it finds itself in a healthier state. Likewise, there is the experience of enlightenment. Allowing the intellect to undergo that process requires firmness. Firmness generated by faith. And all devotional activities. As you develop increasing Shraddha, faith, that allows you to have grip over your intellect with firmness. It results in being free of illusions. Otherwise, mind is dealing with illusions from morning till night. Illusion after illusion. But with firm intellect, with sharpened by viveka, discriminative insight, the innermost experience, I am Brahman. I am that. The entire universe and all that is. The reality behind all that is I am. So when we say I am that, it is not a simple statement. It's just like saying I am that. Millions of years before, I am. Trillions years later, I am. Countless stars and planets, etc., I am. All this should not confuse you. Simple illustration, your dream. In your dream, there are countless things. But not a single thing in your dream is not you. Your own consciousness has created. To wake up, you don't have to assert. You dream world, I am the sky, I am the mountain. All that you do is simply wake up. Waking up automatically implies all that which you consider totally a phenomenon of illusion, that breaks. He neither rejoices when he acquires what is desirable, or is he agitated when he encounters something undesirable. In the practical world, there is always variations. We are expecting there should be no rain. We wake up in the morning with the idea we are going to face a bright day. But it doesn't happen to be. If it didn't happen to be, should you become upset? Should you be agitated? Absolutely not. Remember again that simile of the sky. No matter how things happen, no matter how the clouds form and disperse in the sky remains the same. Your deeper mystic potentiality, your deeper essence within you, the reality within you, that remains ever the same. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. That revelation, that experience is never affected by, no matter how things happen in life. This is dramatized in the Rāmāyaṇa. Rama is brought before King Daśaratha, his father, who says to him, "O Rama, we are all going to make you heir apparent to the throne. You are the most beloved one." Rama smiles. And very next day Rama is called, and Daśaratha, with great grief, relates to him that he has committed a kind of, given his words, that Rama must go into forest, no longer an heir apparent to the throne. Rama smiles. That state is the state of liberation. And with this I conclude. Om Shanti. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.